Hello friends, welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to cover another scope. Name of the scope is parallel for each. So if you want to see the location where the parallel for each is belongs, so in search means of palette you can search parallel. So you're able to see that this is the parallel for each, or you can go in core, in the core component, in the scopes you are able to see parallel for each. So this is how we have parallel for each. So what is the advantage of parallel for each? The parallel for each advantage is that it is basically execute each records in a separate route. So basically, in order to achieve a parallelism, we want to do that key. Suppose we are providing a number of record, and we want that key, those number of record should execute in a parallel or a concurrent processing. That's why we are using a parallel for each. There are some consideration is that parallel for each is basically processing a record in a buffer. So basically it will create a multiple routes internally, and those basically cause the out of memory error. So for the use volume or use number of entries or large payload, I suggest you to use a batch processing. Okay, and there's another consideration: if you're using a AnyPoint version 7.6 or period, then you are not able to see parallel for each as a physically inside these scopes. So what you have to do that, so whatever basically whatever UI is going to generate, let me show you in the configuration XML. As you can see that it is generating like this one. So you have to configure you have to configure like such a way in XML directly. So AnyPoint Studio version 7.6 and period, the parallel for each not available in the palette, it directly available here in the XML format. Okay, so let me create one application. So I'm going to basically provide an input for my parallel for each. It is nothing but 1 to 10 in an array. So let me do that. 1 to 10. Okay, let me write expression for 1 to 10. Yeah, so it's simple, 1 to 10. Okay, let me put logger in order to show you what is basically it is printing. So in logger I'm going to print payload. So it is hash slash n payload. Okay, it is going to basically print payload. Let me put such a way that yes, this is the correct syntax for printing a payload. Okay, and one more thing is that, so whatever input we are going to provide to parallel for each, so output is not the same, output is changed. So parallel for each basically change your input payload. So in output we are going to see that what is basically structure the parallel for is going to generate. Yeah, so for that, what I'm just basically converting a payload to JSON. So it so you will able to understand easily. Let me do that, JSON. Okay, so as you can see that we have provided a kind of input 1 to 10 as array of numbers from 1 to 10 to parallel for each. Inside parallel for each we have basically print a payload, and after that we basically whatever is parallel for each is giving us, we are basically going to convert the whole thing into JSON, and we are returning back same to the consumer. And if I want to see in background what is kind of XML is going to generate, so for parallel for each, this is the element name, this is going to generate. So let me deploy this application. As you can see that my application is deployed. Let me do some clear log, and I'm going to click on send. Yeah, so let me first show you what is the output is returned. So as you can see that we provided a array from 1 to 10, but in the output of the parallel for each, as you can see that we are getting a number of element, the number of element in the input equal to number of element in the output. But along with the payload we have other thing also, like attributes, output property names, outbound attachment name, in one property name, and exception payload if any exception is there. So as you can see that it will basically convert our input to output. So basically output of parallel for each. And if I want to show you our elements, as you can see that there is an element are processing in a parallelism. How we can see that thread number 9, thread number 0, 1, 11, 12. So those thread is coming from Uber thread pool, because I'm using a 4.3. Uber thread pool is introduced in 4.3. So this how is achieved number of parallelism. If I click on clear button and I'm going to send same request again. So as you can see that this time this time basically orders are different. So that's how it will process our record in a parallelism. So this is a very first example. In parallel for each, I have created a multiple example. So let me quickly open those example. So yeah. Yeah. So as you can see that we have multiple XML, multiple flows. Meanwhile, this flow is deploying. Let me explain you what actually I'm going to explain. So parallel for each is basically executing over records. So there's a question come in our mind that key what kind of records we need to provide. So that's how I have created a multiple records. Like this time I'm providing a array of JSON. Second time I'm providing a object as a key value pair, but this is a JSON object. Third time I am providing XML. As you can see, this is the XML, and data is a root element, and under data root element we have a different key value pair. And here we have a Java is a key value pair, so it is a map, key value pair map. So those are the 4 example I am going to provide you for parallel for each. So let me show you what is basically what output is it is expecting. So example 1-1, in 1-1 I provided a basically JSON as array of 4 element. So in the output also, let me check my application is deployed or not. It is deploying. Yes, my application is deployed. Let me clear log and let me show you send. Yeah, so as you can see that payload 1, payload 2, payload 3. So basically it also accept array and JSON object. So basically, as you can see that there is no array, list we are providing a simple key value pair. So this is a question to you. It is accepting this basically object into parallel for each. If it is accepting how many element it is going to process. So let me show you. So as you can see that it processed 3 element, key 1 value 1, key 2 value 2, key 3 value 3, because we have provided only 3 keys and values. So it is an object, key value pair object. Third example, we have a XML, an XML having a root element data. Inside root element data we have a 3 basically key value pair. And one more thing to notice here, I just made a basically collection I have provided like payload.data. So let's see what it will iterate. So this is third example. Yes, it will iterate third time, and basically let me show you here. So this is our first XML, this is our second XML, and this is our third XML. Let me do some changes. I'm not going to provide this one. Okay, I have not provided this one. So I have provided a whole thing as a XML. So as you can see that my XML is always object, because root element, we have one element as a root, which basically is do a purpose of key, and the remaining thing is a value. So here we're providing only one key value pair. Okay, so if I remove the payload.data, so let's check here how many times it is going to iterate. I'm going to, yes, it is iterating. It is considered only one object. Let me show you. Yes, this is only one thing. Yes, because it checked that at root label how many key value pair is present. In case of this XML, it is considered that only one key value present at root label, but in case of our JSON object, actually it is checking 3 at a root level. There are 3 key value pair is present. So in case of object, number of key value pairs in the root label. In case of JSON array, you already know that how it is working. Okay, So Java is a collection map. It is work in the same way also. Let me change path and let me click on send. So as you can see that first, second and third. So if we provide a Java as a collection, as you can see that Java collection with key value pair is called map. So we provided this one, so it is also work on same way. It will consider how many keys are available in the root label. So it is going to process those one. So this is how actually we have done in a different way what kind of input we can provide to parallel for each and will it consider or not. So let me move to my another example. In my another example, so let me click on stop server and let me open this XML, and meanwhile it is deploying. Let me explain what I have done. So I'm going to basically discuss this first two flows, flow number 2 and flow number 2 flow 1. So what I'm going to discuss, so basically as you can see that for parallel for each I'm going to provide an input 1 to 5. Okay, so for parallel for each it is a 1 to 5 element in array. So inside the parallel for each I simply print what is the payload is here, and I have basically written a wait for 2 millisecond. So basically 2 second, 2000 millisecond, 2 second, and after 2 second wait I'm just printing a after also, and finally I'm going to print what is the response is coming, what is the basically outcome of parallel for each I'm basically convert to JSON and returning back to the consumer. So in the whole procedure is that our 5 record process in a parallelism, every record has to wait for 2 seconds. Okay, so let me show you that how it will work. So this is our example 2, first use case. I click on send. Okay, it is deploying. It is deploying. Let's wait for deployments. Yeah, it is deploy. So let me go to console cross. Yeah, I have clicked on send button. So as you can see that, so all payload is print first from 1 to 5, then every record is waiting for 2 seconds, then only after is going to print. Let me clear again, so show you quickly. Send button. Yes, so as you can see that the before 2 second all loggers are printing before 2 second. If there are 2 second wait, all are printing. Then after 2 second the after is printing. Okay, so that's how you can see that. So the parallel for each execute our record in a parallel. But if you have any requirement, but it is not kind of valid requirement, but if you have requirement, you want to basically execute a parallel for each in a sequence, so that we are going to use max concurrency. So it is defined that key the maximum level of parallelism you want to achieve. So that is how max concurrency defined. So here we are giving a max concurrency as a 1. What does it mean? It means that it will record one at a time. It will basically process record at one at a time. We are providing 1 to 5 here, but in previous case all 1 to 5 print parallelly. Then every record is waiting for 2 seconds, then after is going to print parallelly. But in case of example 2, second use case, as you can see that first waiting for 2 seconds, after waiting for 2 seconds, and after 2 waiting for third second, after 2 waiting for fourth, then so those record are processed in the one by one. So if you have a such kind of requirement, okay, and then you can go for each. Okay, so for each basically process your record sequentially. If you want to process your record sequentially, but if you want to achieve parallelism, then you can go for parallel for each. But actually I just want to show you that how max concurrency works in parallel for each. That's why I created this is example. Okay, so let me show you third example. So basically this example from here to here is purely based on the error handling. How exactly error handling going to done in parallel for each. So let me show you. So it is basically it will basically execute your record basically it will execute your records parallelly. So it create a separate route for every record. Okay, if any error occurred at any records, like as you can see that we are passing a record from 1 to 5, at record number second we are converting shake as number, so I know that it give you the expression error because shake is string is not able to convert into a number. So purposely I'm going to fail this record at second position, and once it is failed at second position, whether your processing is stop, no, your processing is not stop. So this is another difference between parallel for each and for each. In case of for each, your processing is stop, but in case of parallel for each, your processing will not stop. It will process remaining record like 3 4 5, or the basically all record are processing in a different way. So one record don't know that there is a error in second record because those records are independent. But in case of for each, first record, then second record, then third record, so it is a sequence. But in case of parallel for each, it is a parallelism. One record is independent of other record, so that's why it will not basically stop the processing of second record or any other record, because if any record is failure. So let me first going to hit this button, this record particular. This is to second use case, basically fourth use case, and example 2. One more thing I want to highlight that, so this parallel for each, I know that it has failed a second time, then it will throw the exception, and in exception I am going to get failures ones, okay, so and success ones. So failure ones is like payload dot failures, and for success one, payload dot payload dot result. It is not success, it is result. Let me do control Z failures. Let me copy failures expression. Failures, and for success it is give you result, not success, it is a result. So yeah, so and and here I'm going to return the payload, the whole payload including a failure and success. So what happened in many use cases, we are basically processing record in a parallel, and suppose our second record is failed, but first record, third record, fourth record, fifth record are successful ones. So at any point of time we need to retrieve a success one and a failure one both. So that's why we have this example. So if I click on it is, I think, let me at least check in the XML side. What is that? What is the path I'm using? It's 2.4. Okay. Okay. Yes. So as you can see that we have first failures. So failures, what is error? Cannot code string to number. Okay, so those failures are comes in failed record, as you can see that, but we have a result also. So result is coming all our records which are success one. So that's how we can retrieve the failure ones and success one. The point to be noted here, the failures ones under comes this key, and success one under come results key. So this is a, and the parallel for each basically throw an exception at end. It does not give you the by default success or failure record. With the exception, with the help of error expression, we are going to get those failure one and success one. So if you want to get directly failures one, then you can use this expression dot failures. If you want to get success one, then you can use payload dot result, and that's how you will get, yes, and that's how you will get failure record and success record. So the one more thing is, notice here the parallel for each throw, if any error occurred while processing a record, parallel for each throw mule colon composite routing exception. And this is the same exception you have also seen in a scatter gather. So you can consider that yes, in case of parallel for each, it is also throwing a mule composite exception. That's why I take this exception and I do my error handling. So another thing, this example is basically show you how exactly timeout is work. So how much time taken by parallel for each, we define here. If it is taking more than time which is defined in the timeout, then it will also throw a composite routing exception. So it is also same exception. So in this exception, the record is failed, but in this scenario, our basically parallel for each taking a time, because I apply a wait condition for 2 seconds, and I'm checking here if it is taking 1 second. Once again, then it will throw an exception. So we are going to check which kind of exception it is giving. So it is a example 2, use case third. Let me click on send button. Yes. So all records, let me show you. This is zeroth record. What is the error? Timeout error. This is zero record. And after zero record, we have first record. It is also failed. Means all record has failed because all record is taking more than more than 1 second. Okay. So that's how actually error handling is done. So I have done from my side. Before this video, I have also created a for each, and in this video I have created a example for parallel for each. So let me give you some majorly difference between for each and parallel for each. So for each works sequentially, parallel for each work parallelism. That's how the error handling work in a different way for both for each and parallel for each. For each is simply failed, any record failed, no further processing will happen. But in case of parallel for each, if any record is filled, the processing will not stop. At end, you will get composite routing exception. Okay, one more major difference between a for each and parallel for each, that the for each does not modify your payload. So whatever input you are providing for each, the same output is coming. So it does not affect your payload. But in case of parallel for each, it will basically update your payload. It will give you collection of output messages for each iteration. So that's how it's work parallel for each. So I'm going to provide a link in the description for each if you want to go through that. And in next video I'm going to cover other scopes. We will meet in our next